I'm preparing a new symbol. I'd like to make a symbol for Enchylinia tomentosa, the ruby saltbush. So what I've done here is just put a picture of some of the fruits that I've collected, and if I zoom in here now, what I've done is use a polyline to draw around the outside. I've used magenta to try and match the colour of the saltbush seeds or fruits themselves. I'm going to pick that polyline now and just experiment with setting the quadratic B-spline curve fitting, which will make it smoother. I might leave the central one more angular, so that gives me two polylines. If I pick that one and that one now, I can copy those and pop them out here. Now I could use the hatch command. We hope, draw, hatch. We'll see how we go if we pick entities. If we pick the inner one first and OK that, we can possibly move that one out of the way there, and then we'll hatch. Repeat the hatch command, not repeat the move. Draw and hatch, and we'll pick this outer entity. It should go over the top. Now, if you look at these symbols, some seeds, or here fruits I should call them, the central zones vary a little bit. Let's make it a shade of green. So we'll pick this one and change it to a sort of fairly soft green, maybe colour 253. To my eyes, that's a bit too light, so we'll go for a darker one. And now we'll move that into position, and hopefully it will stay on top of the fruit. So now we've got a symbol that in some respects is close to that fruit symbol, the actual fruit itself. But I digress. What we now want to do is to create a symbol. Let's turn this into a block. We'll call this fruit. So we've got a block of approximately the right colour. We'll move it and put it down here. We'll use it in a moment. You might want to create 2 or 3 other shapes to give your symbol some versatility, but what I'm trying to illustrate here is that a ruby saltbush is quite a dense bush. So if we draw now, we'll change our drawing colour to some sort of fairly dark green, and we'll draw a polyline. What we're after now will be a polyline to create the outline of our relatively dense bush. So I'll close it, we'll pick that polyline, and we'll certainly smooth curve fit it. And now what we can do is pick our fruit, and we can scale it down now just by dragging. I'll zoom in a bit. You can see if I continue dragging out, I'll get a fruit that's larger than the one we've got, but I want a much smaller one, about half the size. If I wanted it smaller again, I could scale and just click in the middle and type 0.5. You can give it a number, and there's our fruit being scaled down. But I'm trying to create a symbol that represents a ruby saltbush, so I'll undo that scale, and I might even scale it and increase its size, because we're not trying to be botanically accurate here. We're just trying to give us the impression for this symbol. So we'll copy that symbol and just put blobs down at random intervals, trying to indicate the fact that it's got fruit. So we'll rotate a symbol to give it a different orientation. We might pick this one and rotate it around, and another one, rotate it in a different direction. I'll pick this one and scale it. So I'll click and drag to about there. I've made it larger, that's okay. I'll make this one smaller, so I'll scale that by half, typing 0.5, scale this one by 0.75, and you can see my approach. We're getting closer to producing a symbol that might well represent the ruby saltbush. I've got quite a lot of work to do here to improve it, but I hope you can see that's the way we might go about making some sort of symbol. I might well put all the fruits, and I'd like some of different shades of pink, on top of a filled block of solid green and a few stick-like drawings in it, because these arch and create no point in continuing the movie. I'll come back to you when I've finished what I think is a reasonable appreciation of a symbol for that species. Well, I've created 3 different blocks for the 3 different sorts of fruits, and I've scaled them up and down. I'll just fiddle it a little now and rotate 1 or 2 of these around to put them in a different orientation. I've drawn a little frond and copied that several times. You can see that's a block through there. So I've got something that is vaguely reminiscent of the plant that I'm trying to model, although I'm not that happy with it. I worry about my pairs of leaflets, and I probably needed to put those at better angles. So if I explode that one, the sort of thing I mean is to be able to pick one of these and then rotate it around its base point, like so, to give lots of leaves going at lots of different angles. But I digress. I'll erase those 2 just for the moment, and we'll go into preview mode and pick a box around our symbol and get some sort of view as to what it might look like. And I think that works reasonably well. I can think of other plants that it models a little better than the ruby saltbush, and that often happens as you are developing things like this. That looks like one of the native hibiscus plants that we deal with. So from that one plant, I can make others and other copies of it, and you can see it's easy enough to produce quite striking looking images, but whether they really reflect the plant that we're trying to identify is a moot point. But you learn a little about using the commands in GardenCAD as you're doing it.